Mara hid the glowing mapstone deep inside the cloth of her uniform. She did not show it to anyone, not yet. The memory of the old Vexari's words stayed in her mind. The throne follows strength and truth. For days, she kept working in the mines. She picked up rocks, cleaned acid pipes, and acted like nothing had changed. But inside her, something had. She walked with purpose now. She looked at other slaves not with pity, but with quiet respect. Each one of them had survived, just like her. Soon, she started speaking in secret again. To Torin, the tall, strong alien from Junder, who had lost his voice long ago, but could write with sharp symbols on the wall. To Nia, a quiet girl with silver skin who came from a planet of water. She was fast, smart, and always watching the guards closely. To Unit 9, the broken robot who still had old battle codes inside its metal mind. They were all different, all strangers. But Myra had a way of bringing them together. She would say things like, "If we want freedom, we must move as one." And slowly they started to listen. One night, while hiding in a supply cave, Mara showed them the mapstone. "It's not just a dream," she whispered. "There is a place where the old warriors once ruled. A throne that answers to no species, only to the one who proves they are worthy." Nia stared at it. "Why would it choose you?" "Because I've lived as a slave, but I never stopped thinking like a leader," Mara said. "And because I won't run from the past. I'll build something better." The others didn't laugh. They didn't mock her. In their eyes, Mara saw the same thing she felt. Hope. But hope was dangerous on Veltrax 9. One of the guards, a cruel Jokar named Krij, started watching Mara closely. He noticed how she spoke to the others, how they listened. He didn't like it. One day, he grabbed her during work hours and threw her into the electric pit, a place of pain used for punishment. "You think you're better than the others," Krish hissed. "You're still just a human, still just a slave." Mara, burned and bloody, looked up at him and said, "Then you should be very afraid. Because if a slave can rise, your time is already ending." Krish raised his weapon to strike her again, but stopped. Something in her eyes made him pause. She didn't beg. She didn't cry. She believed in something that made her dangerous. After that day, Mara was watched even more, but her allies grew stronger. They passed messages in secret, mapped guard routines, and marked tunnel paths. The whispers spread like fire through the mines. Rebellion was coming, and at the heart of it, not a warrior or a warlord, but a once-forgotten human woman. 2 nights after the electric pit, Mara stood near the back wall of the mine tunnels, staring at the mapstone. When the others slept, she studied it, not just with her eyes, but with her mind. The glowing marks on the stone were not written in any one language. They were mixed, symbols from at least 5 ancient alien scripts, but Mara understood them all. That was her gift. She could read what others could not. The stone showed a path across space, through black holes, ruined wormholes, and dead star systems. At the end was a place called Halatur. The writing said it clearly. "Here sits the throne of the worthy. The one who awakens it shall rise not by blood, but by courage." That was when she knew the throne was real, and if she could reach it, everything would change. But reaching it wouldn't be easy. Veltrax 9 was locked from the sky to the soil. Ships flew overhead, but slaves never touched them. The guards carried weapons, and the air outside was poison. No one had escaped in years. Mara began planning. She spoke with Unit 9, the robot who still had code from its old military program. It remembered how to read ship signals and security systems. Naya, the water girl, could slip through tight vents and steal data from guard rooms. Torin, strong and quiet, moved rocks to hide their work. Piece by piece, they prepared. They learned that a small mining skiff would arrive in 3 days. It would only stay for 1 hour to collect fuel crystals. If they could get on it, they could fly low and escape the planet's radar. But they needed a pilot. That's when they met Relo, a strange alien with sharp yellow eyes and 4 arms. He was not a slave. He was a thief who had been caught stealing Dominion tech. Relo had been locked up for years, forgotten in the deep tunnels. Mara found him, weak and coughing. "You can fly a ship?" she asked. "I can fly anything that moves," Relo said with a smirk. "But why help you? You're just another lost soul." "I have something more valuable than money," Mara said. She showed him the mapstone. Relo stared at it, eyes wide. He had heard the legends. So had many old space pirates. The throne that could unite fleets, armies, power. "I'll fly your ship," he said. "But once you sit on that throne, don't forget who got you there." Mara nodded. "If I sit on it, I won't rule alone." The team now had everything. A plan, a pilot, and a reason. They waited in silence, nerves tight, hearts pounding. 3 days. That's all they had left. And then, everything would begin. The mining skiff arrived on schedule. It hovered above the fuel yard, engines humming, its pilot unaware of the plan below. Mara and her team hid behind cargo crates, waiting for the signal. The guards were busy unloading crystals. The timing had to be perfect. Naya slipped through a narrow tunnel and cut the alarm wires. Unit 9 hacked into the control pad to keep the cameras blind for 10 minutes. Torin knocked out 2 guards silently, dragging their bodies into the shadows. Relo, still coughing from years in the tunnels, was already inside the ship's belly, preparing the engines. Mara gave the signal. They ran. It all happened fast. Shouts, gunfire, smoke grenades, but the team moved like one body. They rushed up the loading ramp. The doors slammed shut. Relo pulled the controls. The ship shook, engines roaring as it rose into the air. The sky turned from dust gray to deep black. They had escaped. But it wasn't over yet. The ship's sensors showed 3 Dominion patrol drones chasing them. The skiff was old, unarmed, and slow. "We'll never outrun them," Relo growled. "Then we don't run," Mara said. "We go through them." She pointed at a gas giant on the map. Orbiting it was a broken moon, a shattered world full of old ruins and space debris. It was dangerous. But Mara believed the throne of Kelter was hidden there. "If we lose them in the ruins," she said, "we might make it." Relo flew into the storm. The drones followed. The shattered moon was like a graveyard of ships and metal pieces. Black rocks floated through space. Some glowed with old power. Others were dead. Relo dodged sharp fragments, flying low. Sparks flew. The ship shook. One drone crashed into a floating engine core. The second hit a shield wall. Only one remained. Mara climbed into the back. Unit 9 handed her a plasma tool. She opened the side hatch and aimed at the drone. It came close, too close. She fired. The drone exploded in flames. Silence followed. They had made it. The skiff landed on a cracked silver platform deep inside the moon. Strange statues stood around them, tall with long arms and blank faces. The air shimmered with energy. "This is it," Mara whispered. They stepped off the ship. The ground pulsed under their feet. A voice, deep and ancient, spoke in many languages at once. To lead, one must be tested. The statues moved. A trial had begun. Mara took a deep breath. She was no longer just a slave or a survivor. She was standing at the edge of something powerful. To claim the throne, she would have to prove herself. And she would not back down. The statues moved slowly, their stone feet scraping against the broken moon's surface. There were 6 of them, each one holding a strange glowing weapon. Their eyes lit up like blue fire. A low sound, like music and thunder together, echoed across the ruins. Mara stepped forward. Her team stood behind her, ready to fight. But a voice spoke again, this time inside their minds. "This is not a trial of weapons. This is a trial of truth." The statues stopped moving. In front of Mara, the ground opened. A wide stairway appeared, leading down into the heart of the moon. "I must go alone," Mara said. Her voice was calm, steady. "You sure?" asked Rilo, looking nervous. "This test is for me," she said. "Wait here. If I don't return, go on without me." Torin nodded. Nia gave a small smile. Unit 9 stood still, its red light blinking slowly. Mara walked down the stairs. The air grew warmer. Lights lit up as she moved deeper. Walls showed moving images, memories, faces, battles. She saw humans, aliens, even machines, leaders of the past who had failed or succeeded. They all came for the throne. Most were not chosen. At the center of the chamber, she found it. The throne of Kaltur. It was not made of gold or metal. It looked like a simple stone seat, smooth and ancient, but it gave off a strange feeling, like it was watching her. As she stepped closer, the air shifted. Suddenly, a figure appeared in front of her. It was Commander Nathan Hale. But this was not the real Hale. It was a test, a vision made from her memory. "Why are you here?" the vision asked. "You left me to die," Mara said. Her voice didn't shake. "You called me just a slave, but I found my strength." "You want revenge?" the vision asked. "No," she said. "I want justice, not just for me, for everyone the Dominion has broken." The vision laughed. "You're just human, weak." Mara stepped closer. "Weak people don't survive years in chains. Weak people don't bring others together. I am not weak. I am ready." The throne glowed. The vision vanished. The stone shifted and changed, becoming a new shape, brighter, stronger. The seat opened slightly, as if welcoming her. Mara sat down. A wave of energy flowed through her. Her mind opened. She saw stars, maps, and signals. Fleets sleeping in hidden corners of space. Old warriors waiting for a leader. The throne had accepted her. Back on the surface, the statues knelt. The sky above the broken moon turned bright as ancient beacons lit up across the galaxy. Rilo, Nia, Torin, and Unit 9 looked at each other in shock. "She did it," Nia whispered. "She woke the throne," Rilo said, eyes wide. Far away, in the deep dark space, the signal from Kaltur reached old ships and hidden armies. A message was clear. A new queen has risen. And her war had just begun. Mara stepped out of the throne chamber with a quiet strength in her steps. The glow from the throne still shimmered faintly in her eyes. The others turned to her, unsure of what to say. "You really sat on it," Rilo muttered. "You're the queen now." Mara nodded, but her voice stayed calm. "I didn't come here for a crown. I came for a future." Behind her, the old statues crumbled into dust, their purpose fulfilled. The sky above the shattered moon was no longer quiet. Strange lights blinked in the distance, ships, signals, ancient systems coming back online. Unit 9 scanned the horizon. A fleet is awakening. Old warships responding to the throne's signal. Thousands of them. Torin stepped beside her. "What now?" "We go back," Mara said, "but not as prisoners, not as rebels. We go back as a force." They didn't have to wait long. A ship arrived 2 hours later, one that responded to the throne's call. It was massive, silver, and shaped like a bird in flight. A voice spoke from the ship's bridge. "Queen of Kaltur, your command is recognized. Please board." The team stared at her, stunned. Mara simply nodded. They flew through space faster than any human ship ever had. Inside the vessel, Mara found something strange. Hundreds of empty seats, sleeping soldiers made of energy and steel, waiting only for a leader. The ship itself seemed alive, guiding her. Mara walked through its halls. Her thoughts were heavy. She remembered the mines, the chains. Commander Hale. He had thrown her away. Now she was returning with a fleet, but she didn't want to destroy. She wanted to free others like her. When they reached Dominion space, The sky was full of stars and warships. The Dominion had noticed the ancient signal. They were afraid. Good. A message blinked on the main screen. Who are you? Identify yourself. Mara stood tall, wearing simple clothes, not royal robes. Her eyes shone with a calm fire. I am Mara Quinn, once a slave, now Queen of Kaltur. I've come to break your chains. The Dominion fleet launched attack drones. Mara didn't flinch. She turned to Unit 9. Activate the fleet. One by one, the old warships of Kaltur uncloaked. Dozens, then hundreds, glowing with ancient power, stronger than anything the Dominion had seen. A great battle began. Rilo flew through enemy ships like a hawk. Nia jammed Dominion signals. Torin fought in the hallways of a captured cruiser. Mara stayed on the command deck, eyes focused. But she didn't just give orders. She sent a message across all frequencies. If you are a slave, rise. If you are afraid, stand. If you still breathe, fight. You are not alone anymore. Across the galaxy, prisoners heard her voice. And for the first time in years, they believed they could be free. Across the stars, Mara's voice reached the darkest corners of the galaxy. On prison moons, alien slaves lifted their heads. In hidden factories, tired workers stopped their machines. In deep mines, human and alien hands dropped their tools and whispered her name. Mara, the queen who was once a slave. The message gave them something powerful, hope. Back on the battlefield, the sky above Dominion space burned with fire and light. Mara's fleet fought like a storm. Old warships from Kaltur glided through enemy lines, their shields pulsing with forgotten power. The Dominion was not prepared. Inside the command ship, Mara stood tall beside Unit 9. We need to strike the center, she said. Destroy the main relay. They won't be able to control their slave colonies anymore. Rilo's voice came through the comms. I know where it is, but it's heavily guarded. Mara didn't blink. We're not asking for permission anymore. With her command, 3 ships broke formation and flew toward the Dominion's core relay, a giant space station that controlled all slave collars, security bots, and mind control tech used across dozens of systems. Torin and Nia joined the attack squad. They blasted through the outer defenses, dodging fire, breaking enemy ranks. Inside the station, they fought room by room. Torin used his strength to rip down blast doors. Nia disabled power grids with her fast fingers. Rilo hacked into control panels with sparks flying over his head. Finally, they reached the core. A giant machine stood in the middle, glowing red, wires twisting like vines. Is this it? Torin asked. Mara nodded. Shut it down. Unit 9 connected to the main system and uploaded a virus, written by ancient Kaltur code. The lights in the station flickered. A high-pitched sound echoed in the air. Then, silence. Across the galaxy, slave collars clicked open. Mind chains snapped. Dull eyes turned bright. From Veltrax 9 to the ice prisons of Siren, millions were free. They cried. They laughed. Some just sat down and looked at the sky for the first time without fear. Mara stood at the edge of the control room, her hand on the glass. She saw the stars. But more than that, she saw a change. Is it over? Nia asked. No, Mara said softly. It's just beginning. She turned to her team. The Dominion will fight back, harder than ever, but now we have something they fear. What's that? Rilo asked. Mara smiled. Unity. Outside, more ships joined the Kaltur fleet. Former slaves, rogue soldiers, forgotten races, all ready to fight beside the queen who had once worn chains. And far away, hidden in shadow, someone else watched Mara rise, a leader within the Dominion. His eyes were cold. She thinks she's a queen, he said. We'll remind her who owns this galaxy. But Mara didn't care about their threats, because the galaxy had changed, and she was no longer alone. Deep in the stars, Far from the fire of battle, the Dominion gathered in secret. Inside a black command station hidden near a dying sun, the leaders argued in hushed, angry voices. "She destroyed the relay," one said. "She's building an army," another growled. "She's only human," shouted a third. But one voice silenced them all. Commander Nathan Hale. He stood at the head of the table, his face older but still cold as ice. His eyes were sharp, full of rage and something else. "Regret. She was nothing," he said quietly. "I left her in chains. I should have killed her." Now she was leading a revolution. He watched the footage again. Mara sitting on the throne, giving speeches, freeing millions. Every word she spoke, every victory she won, burned inside him like a slow fire. "She's become their symbol," he said. "We break the symbol, we break the rebellion." His plan was simple. Find her, bring her in, kill the hope. Meanwhile, on the Kelter command ship, Mara walked through a corridor filled with people, former slaves, free aliens, and even ex-Dominion soldiers who had switched sides. They bowed as she passed, but she didn't walk like a queen. She walked like one of them. Torin caught up to her. "We've secured 5 more systems. The people are rising." "That's good," Mara said, but her eyes looked tired. "What's wrong?" he asked. "I feel something coming," she said. "Something familiar." Later, as she sat alone in her quarters, a message came through an old channel. No encryption, no tricks, just a voice she hadn't heard in years. "Hello, Mara." Her heart froze. It was Hale. "You've come far," he said through the screen, "but you're still the same girl who begged for mercy in the dirt." Mara didn't reply. She stared at the screen, her fists clenched. "You think they love you," he continued. "They love what you give them. But when you fall, they'll leave you." Mara finally spoke. "You don't scare me anymore." "Oh, I'm not trying to scare you," Hale said. "I'm offering you a deal." He leaned closer. "Surrender now. Come alone. No war, no blood. You die quietly. Your people live." Mara stayed silent. Then she said one word. "No." The screen went dark. Torin entered moments later, saw her face. "What's that?" "Hale," she said. "He's coming." Rillo's voice echoed from the ship's speaker. "We've got incoming signals. A fleet. Dominion warships heading our way." Mara stood. "Then let's meet them." Outside, the stars lit up again. 2 great forces moving toward each other. One born from chains, one built from fear. And somewhere between them stood a woman who once had nothing, now ready to risk everything. The stars were silent. 2 massive fleets faced each other across empty space, Kelter's ancient warships glowing with light, and the Dominion's black steel cruisers, cold and sharp like knives. Mara stood on the bridge of her command ship, eyes locked on the dark fleet ahead. She could feel it. Hale was there. "He wants to break us," she said softly. "Not just in battle, but in spirit." Torin stepped beside her. "Then we don't let him." Nea worked quickly at her station, scanning the enemy formation. "He's got 3 dreadnoughts, dozens of fighters, and cloaked bombers. He's not holding back." Rillo's voice came through the comms from the fighter hangar. "Give me 10 minutes. I'll fly circles around his dreadnoughts." Mara gave a small smile. "We hold the line, and we protect the people. This isn't about revenge. It's about freedom." The first shot came from the Dominion, a red beam tearing through space. Battle began. Kelter ships moved in perfect formation, led by eye-guided fighters and captains who had waited centuries for a leader. Dominion ships charged with brute force, but they lacked the one thing Mara's army had: purpose. Torin boarded a captured Dominion cruiser and turned its own guns against its masters. Nea disabled a whole wave of enemy drones with a single code pulse. Rillo flew through an asteroid field, leading bombers straight into the Dominion dreadnought's weak spot. Fire lit the sky. But inside the main Dominion ship, Hale waited calmly. "She'll come," he whispered. "She always wants to face her pain." And she did. Mara left the bridge and entered a stealth shuttle, alone. Her team tried to stop her. "You'll walk into a trap," Nia warned. "He wants you," Torin said. "He'll kill you." Mara's voice was steady. "If I don't face him, this war never ends." Unit 9 went with her. They flew into the heart of the Dominion ship under cloak. Inside, red lights flashed, alarms screamed, but Mara moved forward. No fear in her steps. She reached the command room. Hale was waiting. He stood tall in a black uniform, gun at his side. "You came," he said, "just like I knew you would." "I didn't come to beg," Mara said. "I came to end this." They stared at each other. Two people with a history of pain, betrayal, and war between them. Hale laughed. "You were nothing. A tool. A name I forgot." "And now you remember," Mara said. "That's your mistake." He raised his gun. So did she. 2 shots rang out. 1 body fell. Silence. Outside, the Dominion fleet saw their leader's signal go dark. Their formation broke. Keltur's forces surged forward with new strength. On the command ship, Torin received a message. "Hale is gone." But the price wasn't clear yet. Was Mara alive? The galaxy held its breath. Smoke filled the command room of the Dominion ship. Mara lay on the cold floor, her side bleeding, breath shallow. Beside her, Hale's lifeless body stared at the ceiling, his gun still in hand. Unit 9 stood over Mara. Sparks flew from its shoulder, damaged from the fight. "Status: critical. You must move," the robot said. Mara tried to stand. Pain shot through her chest, but she pushed through. She had not survived years of chains to fall now. "I'm not dying here," she whispered. With Unit 9's help, she reached the shuttle and returned to her fleet. When the command ship's doors opened, her crew rushed to her. "She's alive," Nia cried. Torin caught her before she fell. "You did it." Rillo ran in, face full of joy. "The Dominion fleet is retreating. They're running." The message spread fast across the stars. "Hale is dead. The Queen has won." Dominion outposts started falling one by one. Some surrendered without a fight. Others joined the new alliance. For the first time in decades, the galaxy had hope. Mara spent 2 weeks healing in the medbay. She barely spoke, only watched news from the front lines. More and more slaves were freed. Flags were burned. Statues of tyrants torn down. And everywhere, people said her name. Mara, the slave who became a queen. When she was strong enough, her crew brought her to a great hall on a peaceful planet called Varela. The people there had prepared a new capital for the Alliance. They waited for her. Leaders, soldiers, civilians, thousands standing in silence. Torin helped her up the steps. Nia smiled with tears in her eyes. Unit 9 walked beside her like a loyal guard. At the top of the steps, a crown waited. It was not gold or jeweled. It was simple, made from silver and steel, melted chains, reshaped into a circle of strength. Mara looked at the crowd. She raised her hand. "No more queens, no more kings," she said. "Only leaders who serve. I will not rule above you. I will walk beside you." The crowd cheered. But still, they placed the crown on her head, not because they needed a ruler, but because they needed a symbol of what was possible, of what courage looked like, of what freedom sounded like. Later that night, Mara stood alone on the balcony. She looked at the stars. No chains, no pain, just stars. Torin joined her. "So, what now?" She smiled softly. "Now we build a new world." And across the galaxy, lights turned on where there had once been only darkness. A slave had become a queen. But more than that, she had set them all free.